Hello friends, good morning, good evening, good night. How are you today? Sorry, I'm 10 minutes late. Whenever I'm trying to invite a friend, I always get issues, but we hope it will work out well. So thank you for joining us. My name is Esther, and we are here to talk about understanding life with June Bugenyi, who I'm waiting to join the broadcast. So please bear with us. Okay. So how are you today? Good. So we are still on this series, Understanding Life. And this is part 11. Part 11 of that series of discussions we've been having every Saturday. And yeah, so today we wanted to look at life is a duty. Hello John, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. Should have started earlier, but I'm waiting for a friend to join the broadcast so that we discuss this together. Hello Claire, how are you? Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining us. So I'm waiting for my guest today to join us. And then we shall start. So June have sent the request, so yeah. I'm just cross-checking to see whether the invite went through. Yeah, it shows it did. So that's fine. Okay. So Claire, where are you watching us from? John, where are you watching us from? It's nice to have you here. Hello, David Arenaitwe. How are you? Thanks for joining us. So we are hoping to start our topic soon. I'm just waiting for my guest to join me. That's what's keeping us. Sorry that we are late. I think there's something wrong with my phone. Each time I'm inviting someone, I have issues. I do apologize for this. Okay, so okay. I'm still waiting. Hello, Gerard. Hello, June. I can see you. I've sent the requests. Okay. All right, let me try again. Yeah. I think it will work. It shows that my guest is being added, which is great. Hallelujah. What magic have you done?
I had to come out again and then join your live broadcast, and that's when the request popped up. Sorry about this technology.
It's all right. Is your volume okay? Let me try to adjust mine.
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Oh my goodness. I was quaking. I was saying, oh dear, what am I going to do today? Thank you. Please greet our friends. Introduce
Good
your.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are watching us. We really apologize for coming this late, but I believe sometimes good things get interrupted, but also good things come to those who wait. So thank you really so much for waiting.
All right. Yo, you're looking good, eh? Christmas. Christmas is beautiful.
Christmas, is a season of looking good, but after that we to have a program of going back to normal.
Oh, it's nice to have you, June. So thank you for always honoring my request. You are one person I'm always relying on.
Oh,
You
thank
never
you.
say no unless it's really urgent. So thank you always for honoring our request. Thank you for being there. And when I saw this statement, I just saw your name, Duty June. Okay, what can this statement that life is a duty teach us, help us to understand about life? So it's only your name that came to mind. I said, let me call this lady, let her speak her mind on this and share with our viewers, her wisdom and knowledge of what she has learned from life. So thank you, June. Let's start with the first question. Okay, our topic is understanding life.
Mm,
Life is a duty, complete it. That is a statement made by Mother Teresa.
wow.
So we want to digest that statement and you are going to help us understand life. So maybe the first thing you have to discuss with us is what is a duty? And
Okay.
yeah, then how do you relate a duty to life? Yeah.
Okay. Ah, thank you. Yeah, that's a very loaded statement, which comes actually with an action. It's actually an action statement. When it says life is a duty,
It
complete
is.
it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I looked at Wikipedia. These days you can easily find. And
Yeah.
Wikipedia defines duty as a moral or legal obligation, and it's
Mm.
a task or action that one is required to perform as part of one's job. So
Yeah.
it is either a moral or legal obligation which you have to perform as part of your job or your responsibility. So
Yes.
whether you are required by law or your own consciousness asks you to do it. So that which you are being asked by either law or a contract or your own consciousness, that is what Wikipedia defines it as a duty. But also
Mm.
we can say a duty is something you do to either be assessed, enjoyed, approved, or benefit somebody else. So it is something that you do not just for yourself, even if you're going to do it for yourself, but there has to be someone out of yourself who is either going to assess you, or they will benefit from that thing which you want to do, or they want
Mm.
to assess and see your capability, if you are suitable or what. So it is something, they say you do either to be assessed, or you do it for enjoyment, or you do it to get approved, or to benefit somebody else. And the
Mm.
thing is, with it, like a duty, if it is not completed, there will always be a part which will be affected. It can either be you yourself or those who are around you. So
Yeah.
it is something that in one way or the other. For example, we know parents. Once you become a parent, no one needs to even take you to court to tell you that you have a duty to take care of your children. It's
Mhm.
actually, though it's a legal obligation, it's a legal requirement, but also morally, you yourself, by the time
Yeah.
you decide to have children, you have embraced the duty of really taking care of those children. If you look at
Mm.
governments, Governments have a duty of drawing up plans and systems that will ensure that their citizens are going to enjoy life, enjoy it to the full, develop. So the government will not do all the things, but the duty of the government is to provide systems and outlines and strategies so that other parties can come. And that's why you hear like during elections, different parties come up with their manifesto. Actually, that is what they are pledging to their nation, that this is going to be our duty. So people read the manifesto and they see, okay, this one will benefit us and what and what. They can criticize, they can decide to give you the vote or not based on what you have you have promised that. But also,
Yeah.
duty is not only for government. You yourself as a citizen, I myself as a citizen, I have a duty
Yes.
for my nation, for my community, for my family. It's not just the government. The government will lay strategies, but what is my duty as a citizen of a nation, as a citizen in a neighborhood, as a member of a family? What is my duty to make sure that that community, that group which I am in, is functioning to its full capacity, is living to the best. So each one of us will find themselves that we have one duty. If you're a student, you have a duty to study. You don't go to
Mm-hmm.
school. When you're a student, you don't just expect, I will just show up and you will have to study, because one day they will test you. They will give you exams, they will give you tests and what. So you have a duty to study. You have a duty to attend lectures. You have a duty to go and research and read, because one day you will be assessed by it. In fact, there are some schools, you don't go to school a certain lectures, you miss I don't know how many, you have automatically dismissed yourself. So
Yeah.
you have a duty. You get up in the morning, this is what I am supposed to do, either required by law, or your own consciousness, moral obligation tells you that you ought to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so when we are talking of what is a duty, I am just relating it, and I'm saying, what would have happened if human beings got up and they had nothing? They had no duty at all. I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
life would have been very miserable. Life would have been very, very depressive. I say, even day-to-day life, when we face you get up in the morning, you've got nothing to do. You just be lying there, and that's where sometimes I think negative thoughts will start coming. But when you have something that is making you to get up, if you are a mother, the moment the sun rises, you've already thought, I need to get up, I need to prepare breakfast for my children, daddy needs to get up and start to make sure the car is working. If you have to drop the kids to school, no one has to come. You yourself,
Yeah.
you already know that this is my duty. So you have to motivate yourself to get up and make
Yeah.
life moving. Without
Mm.
duties, and you get up, you've got nothing to do, that's where depression starts coming in, and
Mm-hmm.
life becomes very, very boring. Mm.
You've mentioned that good point that when we lose purpose in life, we
Mm.
lose the duty we're supposed to do. We really,
Mm.
you know, we lose interest in life at all. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see the connection coming in now.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
help understand, how can you relate life to duty, to one's duty?
Mm-hmm. When I was looking at it, first and foremost, I said there is something we need to really remind ourselves, that this life which we have is very limited.
It is.
We
It,
celebrate, New Year is coming. Very soon we'll be celebrating, when that clock ticks 0000, fireworks, I don't know, we start seeing fireworks from Sydney, wherever. We are actually rejoicing. But it's a reminder that the time which we had is kind of ticking. If you had 25 years on your balance, when you celebrate New Year, get to know
yes.
that is 24. The good thing is that or the challenge is because we don't really know how much balance we have. So, but we always have to have in mind, when we are talking of life is a duty completed, have it in mind that life is limited. There is only one truth and fact. No one can dispute it. We all came one day and we will all go. So during this period of time which we have, there are things which each one of us ought to be doing. And these are the things which motivate us to desire to see the next day. So that is where that aspect of life is a duty, completed. So that you first and foremost, I have very limited time. So if this is what I am supposed to be doing, I better do it as if probably I only have today to live. Because in all how painful sometimes it sounds, how many people get out to go to work and all of them come back home? They don't. So you have to make up your mind to always have it at the back of your mind that I have limited time, and whatever I ought to be doing, I better do it to the best of my ability, because I do not know what other opportunity I have, not only of being alive, but even the opportunity to fulfill that assignment is limited. So we say whatever goes around, you see, like right now we are chatting on the internet. There is somebody on duty, there is somebody on duty on Facebook who is making sure that the systems are working properly. There is a company who is releasing internet. There are some people who are on duty to ensure even this which we are doing right now is working. You just get up in the morning, you look at like here, we know the town buses are timed. Someone is on duty to make sure that at this bus stop, the bus will show up at 10 o'clock. Even back home, the people get out of their homes, they know that the town buses will be working, the trains will be working, the planes will be will be working, streets will be cleaned. You get up, you get into town, and you see the streets which were supposed to be clean, they are not. You might not shout, but in your mind you will know somebody did not do their duty. So anything that we are seeing that is happening smoothly, you jump on a train, you start your car engine, it starts. There is somebody who was on duty to make sure that that car, which you are enjoying to drive yourself from place A to B, somebody did their duty properly. And that is why if it fails, there are those who are waiting to repair it. So see, it's like the world is like a moving puzzle, a moving jigsaw. Everyone is doing one thing. You might not be a train driver. I don't know if they call train driver, but for somebody, like if you're living in London, if they get up and say today we are not doing, the whole city will be on a standstill. So that is different kind of things. You get up, you dress your child to go to school. What gives you the faith that they will get there, there will be somebody waiting for them? It's because you have already concluded in your mind that there is somebody who is going to be on duty on that school. You get up, you get money, you are going to the market to buy tomatoes, onions, whatever. Somebody is on duty selling. So it makes life very interesting when everyone is doing the duty. Get up one day, you go to the market and no one is selling. Everyone will be like, what has happened? Because it will make life a bit chaotic. So when we are talking of life as a duty, always remember that each one of us, we complement each other in one way or the other. So you get up, know that this is my duty, do it. Because if you don't do it, it's going to affect one person. And that person who will be affected, their duty also will be affected, and another person will also kind of be affected. So it's like a computer. By the time we see something happening, there is a lot of things, like even your body. your body, the brain is the main control thing. Even I'm moving my hands like this, it's because my brain, parts of my body parts are working properly. If one part of the brain stops working, the entire body will experience it. When somebody has, different kinds of ailment, it means there is something in the body system which did not work or is not working properly. And that's why the entire body starts becoming very hot, or those kind of things. There is one part of the system of the body did not work. So it is with life. When we know that this is what we're supposed to be doing and we don't do it, it affects not only you, but those who are also around. Yeah, so
You
that one makes life very, very interesting.
Yeah, you made me remember, on when I'm in Uganda, walking the streets in Kampala,
Mm.
find a park, a park with all these flowers and everything, nice trees, and people are having a nap in the middle of the city. So you're saying that a duty, life is full of duties.
Mm.
People, everyone busy doing what they're doing. But now in that, you mentioned that if one part of the body is not working, everything is affected. So in that situation, it made me realize that even if we look at people who are idle or sleeping and we think it doesn't affect us, it really does.
Yeah.
So how can we get those people out to realize duty? Or am
Mm.
I okay? Maybe you. I just wanted to throw in there, so maybe you
Yeah.
tackle it as we go along.
Yeah. As you are mentioning, actually, it's very important because, as you are saying, each one of us do different things. But when we are talking of life is a duty completed, the very first thing which we really need to identify, you need to identify what is your duty. Because you can't do everything, you can't do anything anyhow. You first
Mm,
need to identify that duty of
mhm,
yours. Because that's why there is somebody who is a pilot, another one is a driver, another one is a cleaner. And
mhm.
sometimes we look down of those, but I tell you, if a cleaner chooses not to come,
Try.
we will all feel it with all our suits and our, briefcases. You, you will realize how important that person is. So first and
Yeah.
foremost, people need to identify what is their duty. There are engineers, we have farmers, we have architects, nursery teachers, nurses, doctors. Identify what your duty is. Once you have identified it, you need to 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 develop yourself. But somebody will say, how do I even identify what my duty is? You can identify
Mm,
it through what are you interested in, like what are your
mm,
passions, what are your capabilities, what are your strengths.
yeah.
What are the things that you don't even have to struggle, no one has to push you, the things that really motivate you. There are some
Mm,
people who are just obsessed to see the neighborhood clean. you know that is what they are motivated. So, and others, not that they are not clean, but that one is not they just want to see computer systems working properly, telecoms. That one,
mhm,
you will not even need to push them. So those people, they have identified what they are doing, either through their gifts, their abilities, what they are capable to do, what are their strengths, through their talents, and also through the desire to see a change in a particular area of life. So, for example, somebody might, every time they walk and they see children in the school kind of just sitting miserable, that kind of thing, kind of prickles their heart. Then they start to realize, actually, if this thing is really burdening me, then probably I should do something about it. Because if something is burdening you in your heart and you don't do it, you're actually putting yourself in a very miserable situation, because every time you will see that thing, it will keep on coming, it will keep on coming. The more you don't do it, the more miserable you will feel. So you can as well just realize, probably this is one of my duties. Then you will see somebody just deciding, oh, in this school I've realized the children don't have playing facilities. Like, let kids be kids. When you are having your class 1 children, they will need their toys, they want their swings, they want their seesaw. Somebody just decides to provide. It's a duty they have given themselves out of a desire to see a change. But others, it's because their hands are very good at doing one or two things. So they decide, okay, it's my duty to become a handyman, maybe a carpenter, a builder, depending of what your passion is, your talent, your abilities they are. So you need to first and foremost identify your duty so that you get fulfillment in doing that.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I ask a question?
Mm,
I think we've been privileged to be in the developed world where
mm,
there's dignity of labor.
mm,
So you're that for someone to know their duty, they have to know their passion. But if it's someone's passion to do football or someone's passion to cook,
mhm.
yet parents have imposed a duty of going to school to become an engineer, going to school to become a doctor, how do you advise such a person
Yeah.
who has been put themselves in an imposed duty? Because
Mm,
these things are out of passion, but as you grow, it's your
mm,
parents who dictate everything. You go to
yeah.
school, you study,
Mm.
in that environment. How do you help such a person to realize their duty and come out of that imposed duty?
Yeah. Yeah, it is really, really, it's a challenging one, especially us who come from the African background. That one becomes a big challenge because I was chatting to somebody. They said that their daughter likes IT. I don't know, to be a blogger and what I'm not sure what being a blogger is. But the mother said, I told her I want a law degree. And do you know what? The girl went and did the law degree, but she's not practicing it. So sometimes, parents, we really need to understand that it can lead to wasting the time of our children and your own resources, because you will have to send the girl. She will be going there, and I tell you, she will get first degree. But do you know what? She will have done it for you. They will still go back and do what they want. So what I normally advise, especially parents, start
Mm,
identifying, coming close to your children, not just by providing them food and what. Get to understand your child and know what really interests them, and then lead them. Find opportunities of them making that passion into a service, but also how can they use it to put food on their table also. So there are others, probably there are more. For example, somebody is interested in football. Make your children know that football is a short-lived career, so that
mm,
they go with it with their eyes wide open. So you start to talk to your children, and they start to know, okay, these sports, football, tennis, what, we only play them at a certain period. So you will need something else when you can't kick the ball. What are you going to be doing? And I have seen
yes.
some parents who have talked to their children to that. And I'll give an example, like Venus and Serena. They are good tennis players, but they
Yes.
say their dad needed to sit them and make them know that tennis is a short-lived career. They are still playing today in their late 30s, but how long will they still have to play? They went to school to study things like fashion. Venus is an
Mm,
interior designer. While she's
mm,
playing tennis, her company is flourishing. So you still have a way of making money to come in, but you are doing what you're passionate about. Probably when they finish, who knows, maybe they will decide to coach some young people. Maybe their
yeah.
businesses will do. So you need to help your children, not just to brush aside, oh, tennis. You can't play tennis because by the time you are 30, you can no longer do, so you crash it out. No. Help them to see the bigger picture of life, and then
Yes.
make them to make an informed decision, especially
Mm,
on what do you do after that. So then your children will go to school. They might study something else, but they will know the reason I am studying this is not because my parents forced me to do it, but I am doing it to complement the passion which I have. Somebody who is
Yes.
passionate about feeding, running an orphanage, you will need money to put food on the table for those orphans. Where are you going to do? So probably the
Mm.
aspect of doing a business, getting involved into a business which will bring money to you, then you will use that money to fulfill your passion. So at
Mm.
times we might be working a job which is to help us to fund our passions and ambitions, but we need to do that with understanding rather than
Yeah.
just crushing the passion and the desires of our children by making them
Mm.
become engineers while they really don't want to do that, because they will do that duty with misery, and they can just do it anyhow, and it will not benefit those who will be receiving it as a service.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So we were saying, once you need to first and foremost identify your duty. Once you have identified, you need to develop yourself. So
Mm.
I think we have touched part of it. Going to
Okay.
school, yes, study, take yourself to school, your parents will take you to school. If you are already an adult, learning does not come to an end. You can go and learn. You can learn through reading, you can learn through going to college, you can do research, you can attend workshops, you can learn through very, very different things. Because it is one thing to know what you want to do in life, but it's another thing to actually know how to do it. You will need
Yeah.
to learn how to do it. So this is
Mm.
where we go to school, we do short courses and all those things. And as you are doing your duty, let excellence be your driver. Let excellence be
Mm.
our driver, so that we
Yeah.
can achieve what we actually desire to do that. So that is how you actually find out what is your duty: through
Mm.
passion, through interests, through talents, gifts, your capabilities, but more also, what change do you want to see? So you become
Oh.
the change you want to see. Then develop
Mm.
yourself in that. Mm,
Okay.
mm,
So, wow, wow, wow. So, how does one, okay, you've tackled that question of
mm,
identifying
mm,
duty.
mm,
Now, I'm thinking of someone who is maybe very weak in this hospital bed,
mm,
almost dying, and say, you know what, maybe I don't have any more duty. Or someone who is very elderly,
mm.
saying that, oh, okay, oh, it's a bit noisy. Is the noise okay, June?
Yeah, I'm not hearing any noise.
All right. So, someone who is elderly and say,
Mm,
okay, I've wasted my life. I wish I'd known this before. What can I do as a duty? Maybe if I have 2 days left or 1 month left, that kind of situation. How can someone quickly do a bit of that duty and not feel so guilty about it?
mm. Yeah, okay, okay. We will start, okay, with that one. I think that brings the aspect of us understanding which season we are in life.
Mm.
Every season has an opportunity. I tell you, there are some people, I, I, I like watching some programs. There was a program I used to watch. It's an American program. It's called
Mm.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition. So they do
Ah,
that, yeah. That program, they do it for people who have done something in the community, and then they have shown impact, but maybe even while they're still serving the community, they are struggling with their own issues. But there was this child who really caught my attention. I think she was not 10 years, and she had cancer, and
oh,
they had already, told her and her parents and family. They knew that she just had few months to live. So that child, it is so moving, because that child decided, even if I have just few months to live, this is my wish list. you know so first and foremost, she did not want to see other children suffer. So she organized in her own childish way, you know, little child like mind. She decided she wants to be going in the ward, distribute toys to other children. And then she asked her parents to help her set a foundation in her name, and then they raise money towards cancer research. But you will see that child, she was in the hospital, and she will be having tubes and drips everywhere. But when they bring the consignment of gifts, she is the one, the nurses, the parents are holding this tube. She's going, giving hope to other children that
Wow.
don't worry, there is hope, there is hope.
Wow.
Don't worry, you will recover. Even though she knows that she won't recover, she gives them the toys, she hugs them. You know, she just did that in a little time she had. And so they built them a house, and I think they adopted the house so that, you know, some medical facilities were brought into the house, even though it was for a short period, but it was worthwhile. So that was a child. What of a mature person? You have lived life, you have experienced. You can still be lying on that bed, but you can give wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot
Wow.
just say, because I'm just going to die. There are some people who are still on their deathbeds, but they still uh, teach. They can call young people and tell them, maybe you see, I have lived my life to the full. These are the things I'm doing. These are the lessons I'm making you. Make these kind of choices and what and what. So you need to really understand which season are you in life. So I had put, like, you know, as a child, what is your duty as a, you know, your children, the ones who are young? You have a duty to obey your parents or those who are older than you, your teachers. You start to know how to do house chores. But that one, parents will have to instill those kind of things to their children. When you are a young person, you need to identify, I am a young person. If I have a vision where I want to get with on life, I have a duty, first and foremost, to guard that vision jealously, to guard my passion, my desires jealously. So I have a duty to cut myself from anything that will bring distraction, that will cause me not to go to where I really desire. When you're a young person, your duties might be more around your, maybe your studies. Start to discover yourself and know what are your passions. You don't just wait until you are 32. That's when you are starting to run. For us, some of us who missed those things when we were young, we are catching up. We are really, really catching up. Eh?
Yes, so
Yeah, but you know, it is good for our young people to start discovering themselves when they're still young, and work towards that. No, seek knowledge, advance yourself as a young person. Seize all the opportunities that you have to advance yourself, because when you become a young adult, additional duties come. You have graduated, so you have completed your studies. Your duty might be obtaining employment. You will not just sit there. You have a duty to look for those job applications, apply them, prepare yourself for interviews. Those are little day-to-day life. Some of those things, maybe no one kind of tells us that we are just sitting there complaining, oh, I've completed my studies, there are no jobs. Maybe must you be employed? Maybe as a young adult, you might start thinking of starting a business. So if that is the thing which you desire to do, you have a duty now to start exploring, how do I get this kind of business? Maybe you can start thinking of starting a family. If you're a man, you might start, a young man, start looking for your princess. If you are a young lady, keep yourself doing what you're supposed to do and make yourself relevant to be found, and those kind of things. You don't just sit there feeling sorry for yourself, I'm not getting a job and what and what. So you need to kind of do that. Maybe you might start thinking of owning your own property. move out of your parents' house, live in your own house, rent, or maybe build. Those are duties and responsibilities you need to understand which season you are. When you have become as a married couple, now that is when duty is not only to yourself, but also to your spouse. So you start living for yourself, you start living for your, for the other part, to make sure that the other person becomes a better person, bring out the best of each other. You are learning how to communicate, identify ways to improve your spouse to become a better person, areas of passion, interest. Duties add as you go. There are some maybe you might leave them depending on which season you are. But later, you are a leader of a company. Maybe you manage to start your own company, organization, and what? One of your duties, who is going to be your successor? Are you going to be sitting there and be happy about your company and what? And you're not thinking of the future, the succession plan. So one of your duties as a CEO, as a director, draw a succession plan. Start scouting for people to take over, so that when your strength is going, your company is not also going with you. Whatever you started, it's not just a company. Whatever you are doing, you leave a legacy. People leave legacies because they have already identified who is going to succeed them. They have invested in them. So duties, that's why, even like, say somebody is old, they are 80. There's some people. There is a gentleman who passed away yesterday. He was telling us, I have lived my life to the full. I have got no regrets. In fact, it's like he was just saying, I am really ready, ready to go. So kind of identify, are you a neighbor in a neighborhood? You are always complaining, this street is dirty. Maybe it's your duty as a citizen of that neighborhood or a nation. So you need to identify which season in life are you, and draw out the different duties, and then carry them out. Don't see that it is somebody else's responsibility, somebody else's duty. Do your part, and let others do. And so when you are completing this duty, it makes you relevant. When you do your duty to the full, it makes you relevant. It makes your presence to be felt. Imagine a train driver who is always right on time, planes, airlines, which, no cancellations. They make you put a brand on your name, that this is a reliable airline to travel with. This is a reliable company. Even back home, you have your shop, your supermarket, which needs which meets the needs of the people. You make yourself relevant. You identify. Your duty is to find out from your customers, whether you're selling tomatoes in the market and little things, you are doing donut business. You find out from your customers, what do they want? So those are your duties, depending on which season in life you are. So while you carry out that, try to gauge as to what impact or transformation are you bringing to the people. Don't just do something for the sake of it. Find out if you need to improve somewhere. Find out, are people really benefiting from this? Find out, is there something I can adjust? So those are the kind of things which we can do. And I always say, if all of us would have been doing our duties in the right way, the world could have been a better place to live.
Yes. As you are talking, I realize that also our experience can point us to our duty. Because sometimes maybe you've gone through a difficult marriage or a difficult upbringing. Don't you think that could lead someone to say, okay, since I've gone through this, I think it's my duty to make sure nobody else goes through. comment on that, please.
Yeah, life experience. I tell you that one, actually, that is a big one. That one is a big one because you are the one who has gone through that. You know where it pinches.
Yes.
Yeah. We are not saying that if you have not gone through some things physically,
It's
you
good
cannot
or bad.
have, but you are in
It,
a better, eh?
mhm.
You're saying?
The experience could be good or bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I look at it, for example, for some of us, maybe, there are some people out there who have grown up without a father figure. You know how painful that it is. You know how damaging that one is. So
Yeah.
you will find some men who have grown up without fathers, but they
Mm.
eventually came to realize, how damaging that one. They don't want to see other young people grow out without them. So they
Yeah.
decide, like, ah, I will go and help some young people who are struggling without. I can become the father figure they desire. I can become, I can do this so that you try to raise a generation where fathers will be available. Because they have experienced it, they have seen how their mothers have struggled to raise them by themselves. So they do not
Mm.
want that to happen either to other young girls, either becoming pregnant without getting married, or not even them, teach young men not to get involved in premarital sex, because that is sometimes the beginning of having children without fathers. Not the only way, but there are many ways.
Mm.
Maybe children are being brought up without fathers because of marriage breakdowns. So somebody who has experienced that, either they themselves, they have been in an abusive relationship and they realize, I cannot cope on this, but I need to teach other women, other men, that this,
Mm.
really, really, I have gone through this and I do not want it to happen to other women or men. So I can start, educating people through the experience. Maybe some of the mistakes, they are the ones who did those mistakes. They choose to learn from them and speak publicly about those mistakes they have done, to make other people know that, doing this can lead you into this negative thing. So
Mm.
it can be. I saw 2 days ago a young person who said, he has been living in foster care. It was in London. He has been living in foster care. And he said, people don't know that children who have just come out of care, and all of a sudden, maybe they've started living by themselves. He says they find hard to cope during this Christmas season, because Christmas season, like especially in the Western world, everyone goes back to their families. But those
Mm.
people who have been in care, who is their family? Because you've already come out of care. You are no longer with your parents. You are no longer with the foster care. So they're just left hanging there. So this young man and his wife, they decided to organize. They do it every year. They have a whole week where they invite all the children who are out of care. They don't have families, young people. They come there and they feel loved. So there are volunteers who are parents, and they come to kind of create an atmosphere where those young people will not think, yeah, we are the underprivileged. Everyone is with their mommy and daddies. We are the ones who are left alone. That is an experience he went through. He does not want other young people to go through. That is just one example. So our life experiences, Esther, you helped us with that book, Overcoming Stigmatization. You went through
Oh,
that, and you,
oh,
you are helping other single women, senior single women, not just any single person, but those who have waited for long. The stigma
yeah.
that we face, when we
Mm.
read from your experience, when we see what you're doing, it encourages us to keep, forging through, knowing that, at the right time, the right person will show up. But while we are waiting, we can be useful and relevant to those around us. It is through your
Mm.
experience we are getting that. Mm,
Yeah. Thank you for that.
yeah.
Yeah. And also, I'm going back to Africa. I'm sorry. stuck there. Because that's where the problems are. You
Mm,
see many people running away from duty.
mm,
There are parents who are too busy, such that once they drop the kids to school, it's the duty of the teachers to teach them discipline.
mm,
Yeah? Then we have people on the streets,
mm,
drinking anyhow, eating anyhow, throwing rubbish on the, it's not their duty. You know? And then we get in fact, I think it's the result of running away from responsibility because duty is also expectation,
mm,
commitment, responsibility.
mm,
Once we don't have that, we create problems in society. Look at the street children.
mm,
How many children we have on the streets?
mm,
So each child represents someone or two people who ran away from their duty. How can how can we as a continent address these problems
mm,
concerning duty? Yeah.
mm. Yeah, I think one of the things that's what we are saying, we need to start identifying our duties very, very early, depending
Mm.
on which season we are. You know, I was speaking to one lady and I was telling her of the book which I've done, the training guide. And she was asking me, oh, what age group for children? I say it's an age group for children from 12 years. And she was saying, no, 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 that is really, really early. I said, for me, I would desire by the time a young person is 18 years, they have at least an understanding of what they want to achieve in their life. You know, because when we miss that one, that is where things start going haywire. When you start
Mm.
instilling a sense of responsibility, you start instilling a sense of accountability on our young children when they are still young. They grow up with that. They know
Yeah.
this is what I want to achieve with my life. This is where I want to do. It helps them to remain focused. So those young people will not remain young forever. They are growing. As they are growing with that kind of understanding and knowledge and something, then it helps to reduce people running away from their responsibilities. So these parents who are running away from their responsibilities, something did not happen when they were young, or something happened when
Mm.
they were young. Someone
Mm. Mm. Mm.
neglected their duty, their responsibility over them, and no one provided guidance on them. If we want a better continent, it will
Mm.
we have catch up to play to restore, you know, the adults, the mindset and what. But more work needs to be done to the ones who are
Yeah.
growing now. The ones who are
Yes.
growing now. Let us
Yeah.
teach our young people to become people
Mm.
who are responsible. Let them
Yeah.
identify what do they want to do. Let us not impose on them what they should do. Problems also start there, especially to us who are of the African origin. Problems start
Mm.
when parents start imposing their wishes upon their children. We are not saying
Mm.
that everything parents ask their children to do is bad, but when it comes to preparing your child to become a mature person who will be independent, you need to find out what is it that they are more interested, what is it, and then guide them through. Because if you do that, then ideally we will have a generation of responsible
Mm.
young people who know where they want to do, I mean, where they want to go. They know what
Mm.
they want to do. And then as adults, we are helping them to get there by providing resources, helping them to go to the right school. Parents, we need to sit down, you know, be concerned, be drawn, be attracted to the development of our children.
Yeah.
Some parents just think, oh, because I just go to work, there is food in the house, you have a
Mm.
roof over your head, you are clothed, you go to school, you eat. What else do you need? Children needs their parents. Children needs
Yeah.
their parents to be there emotionally. You need to interact with your children, get to understand them. Food, shelter,
Mm.
and clothing are basic needs which anyone can provide for anyone. But there is an aspect which sometimes misses. of understanding our children, getting to know how they think, what is their point of view. Then we together kind of agree. You can agree to disagree, but at least you have given your children the full information, and then they make their choices. But it starts at home. This teacher who you are dropping your child at in school is to help what you have already built as a foundation in the home. Don't just
Yes.
tell the teacher to run the life of your child. How many children does that teacher has in a class? So if she or he is going to take full responsibility of your child, and then you neglect. Some parents don't even know assignments which their children are asked to do in school. Children fumble around, they can't ask because parents are always coming late at home. When they come, they are so tired, all they want is to go to sleep. Children will now go and look for alternatives where they can learn those kind of things. That's where we start having children, because they feel the sense of they've been neglected, or probably what, so I want to just say it all starts at the family.
Yeah.
If the foundation be destroyed, no matter, you'll take your children to Sunday school, you'll take them to madras for those who are Muslims, and what, they will do their own bit, but the child will still come back to you. Those other facilities, I don't know, nurseries and schools and faith bodies, those are just to help parents to consolidate the foundation which they have already laid. So it all
Yes.
starts in the family. Make your children, instill in your children a sense of responsibility. Instill
Yeah.
in your children a sense of accountability. When you have
Oh.
somebody you are accountable to, you will always try to do your best. You don't want to let your superior down. So once you have that sense, responsibility and accountability, then it helps to shape the mindset of our young people when they are growing, who are going to become adults. Then
Yeah.
if they have that, we want to believe, and it will work for them, they will instill it to their own children. So slowly, it might take a long time, but it's worth trying it. When we bring children to this earth, let us be prepared to invest in their lives so that
Yeah.
they become great people, rather than just thinking, they will go to school, and then from there they go to university. Back home, children leave home when they're 13, they go to boarding schools. So the most effective time of parents to invest into their children is between that age of 1 and 13, because after that they will go and start meeting many other teachers. What you have instilled in them is what will sustain them there, or what you did not instill in them is what will break them out there. So it starts in
Exactly.
the home.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. And also, can you advise how we as a continent in Africa can overcome, this problem of maybe people have a neighborhood and there's insecurity. It's the duty of the government. Maybe there's a bush that is and a swamp that is bringing mosquitoes and people are falling sick of malaria. It's the
Mm,
government's duty.
mm,
Maybe, yeah, roads are all dirty and all that. It's the duty of the government. How can we overcome that mentality that
mm.
not everything should be done by government?
Yeah.
What can you advise Africa? Yeah.
I will actually give a good example in Tanzania. In Tanzania, we have, this thing of security. You've built your nice house, and then somebody just comes and, you can't keep chicken because somebody will come and just wipe the entire shed, carry all the 300 chicken, the capital, and the police, you can't just say that it's the police will do. In my country, they have a system called sungu-sungu. Sungu-sungu is a local security, a community security system. So the community come together and they decide, we will look after each other. So
Wow.
they in that neighborhood, they know themselves. They know who are the naughty ones. They know who are the naughty ones. So if we know you are the part of the naughty ones, because a stranger will not come and steal. Very few strangers come and steal to somebody they don't know. Because somebody to come and steal to your place, they already know where to break. They know what to come. So they know the naughty ones. So the community has come together and they do what they call sungu sungu. Sungu sungu, they have a local patrol. You know, in some community, it is very strong. They do it after every, maybe, I don't know, whatever time they have. So you will hear the young people in that community, today I'm on night shift, I'm on duty tonight. Today it's our duty. So they are the ones who do the patrol within the community, within the neighborhood, and people are peaceful. Though it's not kind like adopted in the entire country, but communities which have got that one, they have less issues of theft, these petty thieves and what, because it is really, and most people are middle class. So when somebody, they start doing their little business and somebody just comes and takes, it brings them down, and they say, we cannot wait, because even we will be catching these people, taking them to the police. 2 days later they are out. So they decided, we will sort ourselves out. When they catch you, they have their own system. They have their own punishments which they have set in the community. So they do that. Yeah, there is another, actually I used to work in that organization, in that community. It was about domestic violence. So the community came up and established a group which is called Domestic Violence Watch Group in the community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this thing of taking your husband, because when you take your husband to court, you know, for them in the community, that is how they define. If I take my husband to court and he's jailed for 1 year, actually it is the wife and the children who will also suffer more, because the main breadwinner has gone. So they said, we will have our own system of managing domestic violence. So they have the Domestic Violence Watch Group, which was later incorporated into the local council and what. So it has the community selects the people. They have come up with a list of things which, this one you don't do to your wife, you don't do to your husband. So if your spouse goes and report you to this group, they will call you. They have their own kind of fines and punishments which they do within themselves. If it reaches a point, this one is getting out of hand, that's where they start involving other, you know, like the bigger bodies like the police and the courts and what. But they decided to do it locally. So that is how they run their things. They have another group they called Community Interest Group. So the community sits not just to talk about violence. This is our community. What are the issues? We need a bridge. So they, and by then I was working with them as a community development worker. So I was facilitating to the community on the steps to identify problems, draw out your plan. Then they present it to the local authority. Okay, this is our plan. We need a bridge in this area. If we're going to wait for the government in Dar es Salaam to come, it might take 20 years. So this is what, as a community, we can do. The only help we need is 1, 2, 3. So it makes it easier. So we teach the community to take responsibility. Those are big issues, but it can be cleaning. Communities, this neighborhood decide every Saturday they do the cleaning of their streets. So communities can come. Somebody just needs to take up the initiative. You need somebody. So if somebody is burdened with something in their community, they can take the initiative and mobilize the people within there. And you will be surprised when you take that first step. Everyone will say, you know, I've always been thinking of it, but I did not know how to start and what. You be the bold one and start it, and you will see how positive the response will be.
Wow. Life is a duty. Complete it. So I think we've gone through our time, and you've said most of what we wanted to know. So thank you so much. Thank you, friends. Abdul Aziz, Charles, Jacobs, Kagwa, Kazibwe, Don, Robert Biaruhanga. Thanks for joining us. Stephen, Asilaf, Wawile, thanks for coming. Shijala, thank you for being there. Sarumi, thank you. Biekwa Sotamale, Musenge, Brian, thank you all for coming. Yeah, so June, as we close, do you have any new last words for our viewers? Maybe a New Year message or whatever before we close?
Yeah. One thing I will say is that this duty which we are asking each other to go and complete it, it will come like a service. It will be through a service. So whether it will be serving yourself, but more, I can assure you the duty we are talking about, it's about serving others. So as if you are yet to find a New Year's resolution, I will just ask us, just look around. Look around. Which season are you in life? Look around your neighborhood. Look around if you are a person who goes to work, if you're a person who sells in the market, if it's a person who is a teacher. Identify something that you want to see needs to improve. And I can assure you, take small steps. Don't even start thinking of inviting, I don't know, the mayor of the city, the governor. Start small. If it's in the market, you are not very happy with how the market is, our local market. People eating, what is it, sugarcane, and then spit. So they put a trail. That one displeases you. You can mobilize your fellow sellers there and put a rota on how to clean the place. When you start doing it, you will take ownership of the cleanness of that, so that even a stranger, a passerby who comes and will eat that sugarcane and spit it out, you will have the boldness to go and tell them, please, we don't do that. This is a bin where we put the rubbish. You see, when you take responsibility and do something, you become jealous in court about it, and you would like to always see it thrive. Identify that area. Are you a nurse? Are you a teacher? Are you a mom who is just a housewife? Let's not undermine ourselves. In the street where you are living, is there something that needs to be done? At your workplace, come up with not just even fun things at workplace. You can say at colleagues at work, once in 2 months, let us be going out and relax, not every day work. Take that initiative. So I would say, take a stock of yourself. Which season are you? Which location are you? Identify an area you would like to see change. Become the change you want to see.
Wow. Well said. So thank you so much. So I guess that was the action point as well, or did you have another one? That was the action.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So friends, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Thank you, our guest June, for being with us and for sharing with us. And we wish you all a very happy and prosperous New Year. Okay, so see you again next Saturday in the New Year. Right? God bless. Bye.
God bless. Bye.